Okay, with that done now, we'll go back to the creative mode. We'll select play. And we'll see that when we press to the right, our player walks. However, the player doesn't stop walking, but the player, it animates. And then when I press the C key, we have our punch. We still have to have that go because I pressed it once and it punched, but it didn't punch again. Okay, so what we need to do now is since we were doing this work, we want to have our character be able to move up and down now. So that's what our character is going to benefit from. Before, our character would only move left or right. Now the character is going to be able to actually move up and down. So to do that, what we can do is we'll select here. We'll make we have this selected. We can tell because it's highlighted blue. We'll make a new event. So we have this empty event, right? We're gonna click in this white part of this event, right click, select copy, and then we're gonna left click on this empty event, right click, and then select paste. And now we have all of this information. We have this new event that was made. We're gonna do the same thing here. We're going to select paste, and we're doing this so that we can easily work with this for what we're about to do. Okay, and what we want to do here is we're going to change this to keyboard key pressed. We're going to change this to up instead of left. So we'll select up. Okay. And then where we have this this flip horizontal, we don't need this. So we'll select here, right click, then select delete. And then we have to simulate left. So what we want to do is change this to simulate up. So we'll select simulate pressing up. It's the player, then we'll press OK. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to double click here. We're going to change this to down. So down, we'll select OK. Okay, so now we'll go to here. We want to simulate down key press, select player, then we'll select OK. Okay, so with that done, now what should happen is when we press to the left, we walk left, press to the right, we walk right, press to the left, we walk left, press up, we walk, down, we walk. So that's good. And now we need to set up the so the character has its idle pose when it is not walking. So to do that, what we're going to do is go to add condition, keyboard, key pressed. Let's do right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to left click here, right click, and then select copy, and then oops. Oh, there, and then there. And the reason why we did that was so we could come here, change this to left, change this to up, Change this to down. And what we want to do is double click here. Select invert the condition. So we're just going to invert the condition for all these. Basically what we're saying is when the button isn't pressed, we want Gdevelop to do something. Okay, and what we want Gdevelop to do is to set when those buttons aren't pressed for our character to go into its idle pose. So we're going to go to Sprite, Animations and Images, change the animation by name, select the player, and then we're going to put quotation, idle, and then select OK. Okay, when this happens, we only want this to happen once, so we'll add another condition. We'll go to Advanced, and we'll select Trigger Once While True. Okay, with all that set up, let's go back to our creative mode. We'll select Play. So now our player character is at rest. So when we walk, we let go, our player character stops walking and goes back to their idle position. So the nice thing is the character can, move around the screen, animates correctly as they move around the screen. They can go, a lot more movement than they would have had before. Okay, what we need to do now is when I go to click the preview button, and then I press the C key, okay, we actually have nothing happening now. I'm going to go to Advanced, Trigger Once While True. Okay, to get this to work, we're going to go to Add Condition, Sprite, Animations and Images, and then we're going to select Current Animation, Player. For this, we're going to select Equals, and then we're going to set this to 0. Let's try this now. Okay, what's going on here is we need to set all these to activate just once. So we're going to go to Add Condition, Advanced, Trigger Once While True, then select OK. We'll select the preview. Now when we press the C key, we can see our character punches. So now we need to get this working. So we're going to add another new event. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to go to Add Condition, Sprite, Animations and Images. We're going to select Animation Finished. So we're going to go to Player, then select OK. Then we're going to go to Add Condition, Sprite, Animations and Images. Then we're going to select Current Animation, player. We're going to select equal. Then we're going to set this to 2. So that we're putting this to 2 because this is the punch animation is in the 2 animation spot. Okay, what we want to do here is we're kind of actually doing like the opposite of this here. So what we're going to do is we're going to select add action, sprite, animations and images, and then we're going to select change the animation, player, equal, and then we're going to put a 0 here and then select OK. Okay, so now when we go to preview, we press our punch. We can punch. We can also move around. So this is working correctly. Okay, what we're going to do now is go back to Gdevelop's creative mode. We're going to make a new object. This is going to be a text object, so we'll select text. We're going to name this text. We're going to change the color to a yellow color. Then we're going to select apply. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drag this text over top of our player character. We're going to go to our upper right to our layers editor. We're going to go to add a new layer. We're going to name this new layer UI. We'll just select off of that with this text selected. We're going to go to our left where we see it's on a base layer, and we're going to move it to the UI, which is the layer that we just made. The reason why we made that text is we want to go to events. We want to use that text to help us work with variables. We're going to click this event. We have this whole thing highlighted because the whole thing has that blue line around it. We're going to make a new event. And Gdevelop, the condition tells us when something happens. The action tells us what to do when that happens. When there's no condition, then Gdevelop pretty much says do whatever the action we put in constantly, and that's what we want. So we're going to go to add action. We want to go to text object. We're going to select modify the text, select text. We're going to select equal to. We're going to select this blue button, select variables, select text of a scene variable, and then we're going to select combo. And that's the name of our variable, then select apply, and then we'll select OK. Okay, with that done, we'll go to the preview. And hopefully you can see that 0 there, and that 0 shows us basically what's going on with our scene variable. Okay, we want to have our player be able to hit the enemy character. And to do that, what we're going to do is we have this highlighted blue, this event. We're going to select the plus button. We're going to go to add condition, sprite, animations and images. We're going to select current animation, player, equal to, and this is going to be 2. Okay, what we want to do is set things up so that when the player throws a punch, a hitbox is made. So we're going to go to add condition, sprite, animations and images, select current frame, player, equal, and then we're going to set this to 4. And then select OK. We only want this to happen once, so we're going to go to add condition, advanced, trigger once while true, then OK. Okay, now we need to tell the hitbox to be made, so we're going to go to add action, common actions for all objects, there's create an object from its name. We don't want that. We want create in object. We're going to select Hitbox. We're going to select this blue button. Common expressions for all objects. Position. X position. The X position of the player is what we want. We're going to select apply. We're going to do the same thing here. Common expressions for all objects. Position. Y position. Player. Then we're going to select OK. Okay, what's going on here is we're telling the hitbox to appear on the X and Y position of the player. However, we need to go back. We need to go to here, press space, plus, then put in 100, space, plus 20, and then select OK. Okay, what should happen now is when we select the preview, when we punch, okay, so we don't see the hitbox, and we probably don't see the hitbox because it's behind the layer. So what we'll do is we'll go to Add Action, Common Actions for all objects, go to Z order, select Z order, select the hitbox, we'll select equal, we'll make this be, make it 10. Select OK, select preview, and now we can see there's the hitbox. So now we don't want that hitbox to just remain there. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the, make sure we have this selected, add a new event, and then we're going to go to add condition, sprite, animations and images. We're going to select animation finished for the hitbox. Then we're going to select OK. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go to Add Action, Common Actions for all objects, Objects, delete an object, and then we're going to select Hitbox. So now we're going to go to the preview, and then when we press the C key, the hitbox comes out and then it disappears, which is what we want. Okay, now we want to make it so that the enemy can be hit by our player character. So to do that, we'll add a new event. We'll go to Add Condition, Common Expressions for all objects, Collision, then Collision. We'll select Enemy. We'll select the hitbox. We'll leave the rest of those settings, or that other setting default. We'll select OK. Then we'll go to Add Action, Sprite, Animations and Images. We'll select Change the Animation, Enemy, equal to, and this will be 1. Then we'll select OK. We're going to need for the enemy to go back to what it was doing, go back to its idle. So we'll select to make another event. We'll select Add Condition. We'll go to Sprite, Animations and Images, animation finished. The enemy, we'll select OK, and then we'll select add action, sprite, animations and images, change the animation, enemy, equal. We'll put 0 here, which should take it back to its idle stance. Okay, let's try this out. So we'll go to preview. We'll walk over. Walk down. And there we go. That enemy looks like it's getting hit. Okay, one of the things we can do when we're working in Gdevelop to give ourselves more space is we can put things in groups. So what I mean is we can select this event. I'll hold shift. By holding shift, I'm able to select more than one event at a time. So we have all of these events. So what we're going to do is right click, and then we're going to select move events to a group. And then we have this group here. This is a movement event. So we're going to, or these are movement events. So we'll name that movement. Now we have more space to work with here. Okay, one of the things we want to deal with is when we press play. When we walk over to the enemy, we're going to, when we press the punch button, we can see that the enemy responds the same way every time. We want to set that up so the enemy goes to other poses than just that pose.